These ones. Can we do an episode where we just do these? We don't speak, we just
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
but
do it.
no,
Let's do
we're
it.
not gonna do it again.
We're not doing
This
that
is the
again.
last
Last time.
And 3, 2, 1, fresh.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the That Slate podcast. I'm your host, Romain.
And I'm Phil.
And in today's video, or episode,
It is a video. Is it a video? It's cool. Yeah. There's cameras. There's 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, but
It's
people
okay.
on Spotify, they're going to think.
They're gonna go to the
Anyways,
YouTube channel then.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Hey, if you're listening on Spotify, go on the YouTube channel and give us like a subscribe or something. Thank you very much. So in today's video, we're going to talk about something really important in the filmmaking industry, in the filmmaking world, that is not related at all to the image quality or cameras. And this is
sound. As you can hear right now.
exciting.
The importance of it. Sound.
Exciting. Do we sound crisp?
Oh, we do.
Oh,
I think we
right,
do. Thanks to this beautiful room we're in here.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. How
So-
do you like sound, brother?
Sound is important. Sound, like, this is one of the thing when you first start off, you don't really think about it or care about it.
Nobody does. It's
And
just-
at some point you realize a video that has like a shitty image but good sound, people are going to look at it. But a video that has terrible sound and good visuals, nah, not so much. People are not really going to look at
it's
it.
cool in the beginning, but then you get headaches.
'Cause
Do you
it's
like doing
important.
sound though? Like, do you like to physically do it on set?
Well, I guess it depends. If I'm on a shoot and sound is of utmost importance, like dialogues, like if we shoot a scene with dialogues and whatnot, like I'll get someone to do that, because it's like you can't do everything. You can't direct, operate the camera and do the
Right.
sound. So for stuff like this, I would definitely get someone else. For smaller stuff, where the camera doesn't need to be operated, I'm thinking about interviews, for instance, smaller interviews. Then I'm okay to do sound. What about you? Do you like doing that?
Like I said when I was introducing myself in that episode, I really don't like doing sound. Yeah, of course, it's an important thing to do, and I keep on doing it on like small productions where you don't have the budget to
Yeah.
have a sound person on set. But yeah, honestly, I learned a lot from them because at the beginning you think this sound thing is kind of on the side, and you learn it's important,
Mhm.
and then you start doing it. And at some point you're like, okay, I know the basics of sound. It's cool. But there's a whole other realm to it.
Yeah.
There's so much. Just like in film and image quality and everything, there's a whole realm. And then you think, I got it. It's sound. There's a limit to it. But then you meet the sound person and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake like most of like the upcoming and like the people starting off in the industry like make. Just
Yeah.
like sound is just like a lav you plug
I would
into
argue
your
almost everybody does
your
that.
mirrorless. Yeah. And I feel like for, smaller YouTube stuff, like sound, okay, you can get away with like doing it yourself or like small interviews, but I can't stress enough the fact that as soon as you have the audio being critical in like a film or something, having someone else is very important.
Okay.
Do you have like
Yeah.
so
Shoot.
so no, you go.
I was gonna ask that, like, how you approach sound on set. Like, do you always do it yourself? Like you said, no, not really. Do you always bring someone? Like, is that the thing? Because that's
Yeah.
how I went to it. As soon as I'm like, if I'm doing client work or like
Yeah.
professional work, as soon as there's sound, there is at least one other person. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
touching sound if I'm doing the direct. Like, a lot of times directing and camera goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like, you can combine it, but as soon as sound comes in, I'm always like, there has to be another person.
So
How do you go about
as
it?
I said, like the minute like sound is critical, we'll have someone like an audio engineer or like a sound person that
Right.
like knows how to do that. For interviews, as I said, where like the cameras are on sticks and like you can, you don't have to operate a boom. You can just boom the mic above the head of like whatever.
Yeah, they stay at the same place.
Stay at the same place. Then I'll just have an assistant or someone of the crew that's not necessarily like a sound person, just monitor the audio, and I
Right.
just give him like the range in which the audio should be at all time.
Right.
But I need to have someone monitoring the audio, and I'm not doing that ever. For more run and gun stuff, like if I do like events or even like small documentary stuff, like I have audio on board, which is more like a glorified scratch audio, which is gonna be like worked on a little bit, but I know that like a lot of sound design is gonna be added.
How
to
do you
that.
record it though? Like what kind of setup do you have?
Oh,
You use the in camera, like the in camera mic? No.
yeah,
Yeah?
it depends. Like if the camera rig has to be really small, I tend to have like an on camera mic.
Like
Depending,
a shotgun. On
yeah,
top?
shotgun definitely. Like if I'm using a camera that has XLR ports, I'll definitely get like an XLR mic. But for smaller cameras, like I shoot on the Red Komodo, and it does not have XLR ports. I just have like a 3.5 mil. I think it's the Rode NDG video mic, which does like a decent job at getting audio, especially if you know like you're gonna have like music and sound effects on top of it. But if the audio is more critical and I'm rigging up like a bigger camera, I tend to have like an audio recorder,
Right.
rigged up on the camera, and the camera goes through this.
I've seen that a lot. A lot of people keep doing that. Like really, like a Zoom audio recorder.
Yeah,
and
look,
you
I
put it
have
on top.
I have a Zoom H6, and it has like 1/4-inch threads like everywhere, so you can easily rig it up, and you can just get the audio in there. So what I would do is that I have like a shotgun mic, XLR shotgun mic. I rig it up on the put it on the Zoom, and then the Zoom is rigged up on the camera, and then I have scratch audio on the camera. So I have like a small mic, I think it's a Rode video mic, like a really small one. It's like $50, but just to get decent scratch audio, so it's easier to sync up, and then that's it. Yeah.
And maybe for understanding, why do you go just for the XLR port? You go through the Zoom, through the recorder into the camera.
No, yeah.
Because there's adapters, for example.
There are adapters, but like the preamps, so the quality of the sound recorded in cameras is usually pretty. I don't want to say pretty bad, because like some cameras are doing a decent job.
It
like
depends,
I think like the Ursa is like a decent, like the C70 they're decent, but most cameras I would not rely entirely on that.
I think it's most documentary cameras that have a really good preamp that you can really put a shotgun mic in, and it's fine. Yeah. Like a what is it, FS7 or
these are great.
FX9 now, and FX6.
Yeah, these are great. They have like good decent preamps, but I just also feel like when I use the Zoom H6, the files that I get out of this are give me so much more latitude in post,
right?
And the quality is so
100%.
much better. When I first started, I think like everyone, I was doing like shotgun mic and call it a day, but then now that I've experienced with the Zoom H6, every time I have to do sound myself, I'll tend to use this, and of course using another person is always better. That being said, though, having another person on set and recording audio externally means that you'll have to think about how to sync that up in post. So you have like numerous tricks you can do. You can clap obviously to have the scene, and then you have to like figure out how to sync that up in post. But you'll know like scene 1, take 1, you know which clip it's linked to.
How do you usually do it?
I usually do the sound, the clap. Sorry,
the clap. Like, do you use a clap or
I use a clap?
Slap that clap or clap that slap?
I'm clapping that slate pretty hard, to be honest. But no, I usually do that just because I think it's like the most structured way to do it for me. But also on bigger shoots, when you have bigger crew and like bigger cameras, I tend to like have time codes, and this just makes everything much easier. Right. It's just that for smaller shoots where they don't have a lot of budget, we tend not to have like a sound person or like the ability to have time code in. So clapping is always my go-to.
Talking of time code, how do you go about time code? Do you use a tentacle sync or?
Also, some cameras have like time codes that are in their cameras, like on the bigger cams. If you use like a Blackmagic or a Komodo, for instance, Komodo you can have time code in, but like on Blackmagic cameras, for instance, I use tentacles, and you essentially have like an audio signal going into the camera. Right. That gives like the data.
Gives the data the time code.
Yeah, on a time code. But I always feel like it's kind of like a hassle, and if I don't do too many takes of scenes, like clapping, for some reason clapping for me is easier, because like since I'm also most of the time editing, I just know.
You don't really need the infos on the slate.
However, if you have multicam, if you do like a documentary type of stuff, and like you have 3 cameras shooting, then that's when time code I think is like a little more important. But then you can get away with like.
For me, even it's usually the way I do slate on the set is usually I don't really need the info as well. Like I decide if I'm gonna be in the post-production process, like if I'm editing the whole project, then usually, and I'm on set, then usually I know exactly what we shot. I know exactly what was the last of this scene and what was the first, you know. So you know, and most of the time you edit it pretty soon after the shoot, and not too much of a gap in between. Then usually I don't really need a slate because I know I'm gonna know what happened. Yeah. But as soon as I give it off to someone, which is more and more the case, we really need to use a slate, because otherwise the post person is gonna fucking go mad.
And I think it's just, at first I didn't really understand why people were slating, and then once you get in a position where you have to edit footage that was not it was not shot by you, and you're like, what?
Yeah, it's a big headache.
This is a nightmare.
And just also, like, already just having the thumbnail of the clips being the slate is just like a lot of time that you're not using to click through, and just in your editing software, just double clicking the clip to see what happened. Yeah, it takes so much time if you do that over and over and over days. Yeah,
exactly. And especially when you do like more narrative stuff or like commercial work. I'm not talking about interviews, but you have like an assistant on set, and they're like, okay, so for scene 5, take 3 is the best one. Yeah. And then it saves so much more time, I guess, in post-production, because like you don't, as you said, you don't have to go through like all the clips all the time.
I've also heard from directors especially that they don't like if it's too clear, like the thing you just mentioned, like noting down which one was the best take, because they said a lot of times on set you think, oh, that was good, but then a lot of things come to you as you watch it in post on a big screen, you know. And they don't like that, because then the editor and themselves, the directors, are, you know, drawn to just taking that clip and just thinking, oh, that was the best one. I don't even need to look at the other ones. While if they take the time to look through, which obviously is really time consuming, but if they do that, they find other things like small movements, small gestures or mimics that they would have missed otherwise.
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. It's just that sometimes when the turnaround of the project is not, you don't have time, like you don't have 5 days to edit. I think it's different when you talk about like full length, like even short film or feature films. Then the editing, obviously there's more to edit, but you also have a little bit more leeway and like, you know, freedom. Right. Not necessarily freedom, but like you don't have like only 2 days to edit and then like send it off to the client because they have 100%. This I don't know, opening of some sort of like product launch or whatever.
Talking about post, you mentioned it quickly. How do you go about it in post? What do you do? Like, it's not, let's say after you edited your project, and then it's about post processing, like the audio. What do you do? What do you don't, like usually on a daily basis?
So 2 cases. One case is the budget allows me to send the files to like an audio engineer that would master it, and this is the best case scenario, and they'll take care of the sound design and everything at the same time, which is great. So in some cases you don't necessarily need to have that, or just like a smaller interview that don't requires the highest mastering quality. What I usually do, I do most of my audio editing in Premiere.
Right.
I use Audition for 2 things only. It's the denoiser, and if I want to extend or shorten like a music, I know they have this feature now.
Did you see? There's a brand new feature that just came out.
Yeah, it's in Premiere.
Yeah,
it's been in Audition for like ever.
Right.
But Premiere, I feel like now the state it's in now, Premiere doesn't work as well as Audition.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, I tried it. I tried it actually like a couple of weeks ago, and I tried to like shorten the clips, like the music, and it was just like weird. And then I opened it in Audition. And then it was perfect.
Work better. Okay.
But then I usually have like, if I talk about like interview stuff, I have like all my other voices on one track, and then I'll just apply effects on the entire track, not on every clips.
Right.
If of course like you do like if 2 people are talking, you have 2 different
of course
tracks, and then you have I usually do like a multi-band compressor on, and then some equalizer, and then depending if there's a lot of background noise or reverb and everything, I'll try to like deal with that in there. But like this is for smaller stuff, and as soon as it's like more like a short or like a commercial with a lot of dialogue, I'll tend to like send it off. Yeah, because like editing, color grading, like I think I'm like decent, like slash good at it, but like audio is just so much harder.
What about you talked about sound design?
Yeah.
If you do sound design on your own,
Yeah.
where do you get your sounds from, and how do you go about it?
Mostly I get it from Artlist.
Yeah.
Because Artlist has like the best subscription ever. Because like
Why? The cheapest?
No, it's not the cheapest, I think, but it's just you get one license and you can basically use it for professional work.
forever.
Yeah. For like everything. For songs as well, for client work, I tend to use this. Or again, if there is like the budget for it, I'll tend to like have an audio guy like do something, compose.
Yeah.
But for smaller stuff, like Artlist is the best. I've used like MusicBed in the past a little bit, and like I think the quality of the music there is much better. Like the artists that are present on the platform is better, but it's just like the licensing is kind of like different.
Why?
And
What's different?
if you want to use like a product, like the music for like a business you're working with, then you have to like ask them like how much like this would cost, blah blah blah, and then more often than not, like it's really like more expensive.
Oh wow!
And it's just that like clients don't have like that money,
Right.
and it's bad because like I wish I could have used like the best music possible and
Right,
like have
right,
it composed
of
every
course.
time. But yeah. But talking about like I just wanted to like talk about something. Like I talked about like the fact that, and I think you do that too, like you record externally when you do interviews.
Yeah, I do.
And I think Zoom just released the F03, which is an audio recorder that records 32-bit float. And 32-bit float means that you have a shit ton of latitude in post. And
Basically, you can't clip.
you can clip. You can clip, and you can't go too low, you can't go too high. And the crazy thing is that on the device, which is really small, and this would be like a good fit if you rig it up on your camera, you don't have a volume button to control the input. Just because the latitude is so big.
No way.
And that's crazy, yeah. And they also released, I think, the F1, which is a lav mic, which has 32-bit float as well.
Wow. And it records straight to the mic?
Yeah.
Or do you need to
Oh,
connect
no.
it?
What do you mean? Oh, it's XLR.
But like the mic that
Oh,
the
yeah.
person
It records on
straight
it.
on
Yeah.
it. You don't need to send it to another
No.
device.
No, it's like an audio
Which is much better
recorder.
because you get better audio quality then.
Yeah. But
Wow, I didn't know.
Yeah, that's great. 32-bit float is like
But
the best. So
32-bit has been around.
yeah, it's been
It's
it's
just
it's
not
been
really
on like the bigger
ones,
bigger
yeah.
ones, more expensive ones, and I think the F3 is like $300 or something like this.
Wow.
And for solo operator, like one man band, I think it's the best. If you want
can
like
just let it go.
yeah, basically.
The only thing is you would miss one reason, because I always get a sound person on set if possible, is it's not just that they're better with it, obviously, and that they can level it, or adjust it, but it's also because if you don't listen to it very closely, you might miss like a lot of things, like humming or I don't know, sometimes even an ambulance driving by.
Yeah.
If you're concentrating on the person talking or on the image, you don't hear it.
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
in post, you'll sit there and be, oh my god.
Oh shit! I forgot. I
Just
didn't
small
catch
things like
that.
that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like having someone monitoring the audio and like having a sound person doing this is like 1,000 times better than having just like an F3 and then you just like pray.
Yeah. But also just laying there, putting an F3 there, instead of not having anything, is also 1,000 times better. Than,
oh yeah, for sure, 10 times better. But I think like if you like in order, having a sound person is always better, and also because that you won't have to think about the mic placement, like how to rig up like the boom pole and whatnot, because this is something they'll do, and this is one thing less you have to think about when shooting, because like when you shoot you have like so much shit to think about, and you like how, because like you said, you always have like an audio person coming in, but have you ever been in the situation where you would not have like the budget to to do that? So how do you approach this?
Let's say it's a client work, and with the client, I really tell them why it's important to have a sound person on set.
Yeah. And
even if the budget is not enough, I'll try to get it, because I'll really try again every time.
Yeah.
Like I will tell them, look, it's really important for this and that.
It's that few $100 not worth it.
The problem is mostly that prior to, they might have worked with other people, and prior to me, other people would have done it. And it's always, the argument is always, look, last time it was one person and it worked fine.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, that's the the worst argument because I'm always like, yeah, look, if everything works fine, the sound I'm going to record, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
But as soon as one thing is coming up that's not working out, first of all, the whole production is on stop.
Yeah.
Because most of the time you're, sorry, microphone. Most of the time you're already a one-man band.
Yeah.
And if you then have to figure out what's happening with the sound, you have to find another room. You have to figure out who can turn off this one fan that's going on. I don't know. The whole production is waiting. Everybody is waiting. And most of the time it's a really, time, how do you say? It's really tacked it in time. So that's the first argument I always bring. It's really hard. And look, as soon as something comes up, I'm not an audio engineer. I'm not a specialist. Mm-hmm. This person will find solutions. But if everything works out, the sound on record, it's gonna be just enough, like just great. But yeah, I really try to get them to.
Yeah. So much love to all the sound engineers out there.
Show them.
Thank
some
you.
love.
Thank you for making us sound good. All right. So that's right.
Any tips for the wrapping up? Any tips you want to give out for people that maybe some hacks or some things you wish you knew earlier?
Get the mic as close as possible to the mouth, please.
Right here.
Right here. No, like for real, like I think mic placement, if you first start off, I think if you're an audio engineer, like you probably stopped listening so far. Like
hopefully.
At this point, hopefully.
I hope you did.
We have no clue what we're talking about here. But I think if you're starting off and you kind of like trying to figure out like what kind of equipment you need to get, I think getting a good lav mic and like some sort of like wireless transmission is probably your best bet, because you probably don't have a C-stand, you probably don't have a boom arm, you probably won't have the ability to like, record with like a boom pole or whatever. So like getting a good lav mic, as you did in your first documentary, lav mic, try to have it like hidden under the clothes or like chest level somehow, not too close from the mouth, and then record from there, and then try to improve your skills. And if you don't want to improve your skills in like the audio department,
get a sound person.
Yeah, get some dude. Get some dude. All love to the sound persons out there.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's it for today's episode.
Yeah, I think so.
That was a quick one. Audio, scary, but really
scary,
important.
But beautiful if it works out.
Yeah.
Really good to hear too.
Yeah. I hope I didn't clip. That's her.
I think you just did.
Yeah, I just did. All right, guys.
Thank
like,
you.
subscribe, do that thing. Send us love, messages. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we're excited for episode 4.
Coming up.
Goodbye.
Sometime next week.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Ooh.